Story 1, Shine your headlights into our living room. We shine back brighter there require a few nights our neighbor from across the street would return home late in the evening after dark and park his car in front of our house. He would leave his headlights on and fiddle with his phone for a few more minutes, while illuminating our living room like it was summer in the desert, before shutting down his car and step out. At one point I bought a really nice flashlight, one that was high-powered. And next time when he parked his car and stayed seated while letting us bathe in bright light, we illuminated his car by turning in the flashlight and putting it on the windowsill while pointing it at his car. His lights went out immediately after this event, every time he parked and played with his phone first. It was all in good fun, we never fought about it because we were good neighbors for each other. Fishrod61 says, I always yell at the full moon and a few days later, it's gone. Bloody thing, shining in my windows. Pound of Flesh says, I bought a super bright handheld flashlight for when I go to the movies and people are being dicks. My intention is to shine the light right on them so everybody knows who the dick is. Drazilu says, I would have tried a mirror, but this worked like a charm too. Story 2, why force me to share the bill, when I wasn't sharing the food? I started working with a new team and they had the practice of going out for lunch every Friday. I was new to the job and I know my pay was way lower than everyone else, and months later I realized I was paid unfairly low and I quit at the worst possible time as a revenge for a better paying job. I had loans to pay off, and was also at the beginning of my career. Hence was pretty calculative of my spending. Coming to the main story here, I was invited to join the Friday lunches and I liked it as well. But, one thing that bugged me the most was, the bill was split equally. The reason it was a problem for me was, I was the only vegetarian in the group. Everyone else used to eat only non-vegetarian food and would order multiple appetizers, main course etc. and share amongst themselves. I, on the other hand, would just order for me, one appetizer one main dish. They would take pieces from my appetizer portions from my main dish as well to taste it, and many days I would leave the restaurant still feeling a little bit hungry. Also, I was paying more than what I had even ordered. Usually, I used to order food totaling about 15 and with tip it would be less than 18. This was more than a decade back. But when we split the overall bill, I usually ended you paying $23.25, and worst of all I was not even getting to eat what I ordered. So, one day I subtly brought up the idea of separate bills, or at least let me pay for what I order. Most of them ignored what I said and the two who responded, shot down my idea immediately saying I was ridiculous. So, that day I ordered 2 appetizers instead of 1. The next week, I ordered 2 appetizers and 2 main dishes, and at the end of the lunch I packed up the remaining veg food took home for my dinner. The week after, I tossed in a dessert in the mix, asked the server to pack one of the veg main dishes straight in a to-go box. This is when their alarm bells started ringing. I have been ordering food worth 40 now incorporated tips, and since it was getting mixed with the bigger pool, everyone's share had gone up to upper 20s. On the 4th week, when I was about to order, one of the guys who called my idea ridiculous suggested separate bills for veg non-veg food. That day, I ordered 2 appetizers, 1 main dish. I think that sent a message. I invited everyone to taste the appetizer and offered my main dish as well. I left the lunch feeling full and not having any to-go boxes. In the weeks following, slowly the split concept was gone. Everyone started paying just for what they ordered. They would split the cost only for appetizers they shared. Everyone ended up paying less than what they usually paid, as everyone was ordering more than needed as they assumed. Since the bill is split equally, they were getting to pay less. But this fails when everyone was doing the same. Automatic Plan 9087 says, years ago my friend group of around a dozen used to play snooker on a Sunday afternoon evening. We booked 3 tables, had beers and basket meals and used to split the bill. Normally around 20 each. Then one of the group, who was self-employed, started to bring a couple of clients along. They were there when we arrived, had beers and food, but left half an hour before the rest of us. Didn't leave anything towards the bill. Thought it was maybe an oversight, but it happened again the following week. Our share went from 20 to nearly 30. Turned out they were there for a couple of hours before we arrived and they drank like fish. The following week, as they were getting ready to leave, I asked loudly if they were going to be paying their fair share for a change. Cue many red faces and shuffling of feet. Some of the lads said it'd gone too far, but this guy was the highest earner of the whole group if you could believe his boasts, and a couple of us lived paycheck to paycheck and couldn't afford to be subsidizing his lifestyle. He came the following week and called me in a hole for embarrassing him in front of clients. Turned out he was treating them to build a business relationship. Some of the lads agreed with him. The rest of us decided we'd go somewhere else in future where we looked after each other. Inert username says, smart. Well done. We went to a fancy place with a big rich family one time just to be social. It was way out of our league and we ordered very conservatively because of finances, and when the bill came it was split equally, which came as a total shock to me. I think our bill would have been 60, but we ended up paying 130. I was too young and inexperienced with such things to say something. That still makes me livid to think about. Macabrancissimo says, when they sense that they are subsidizing your food, is when the idea of splitting the bill is no longer ridiculous. Thanks for watching. I love you. Follow Reddit Echoes for more.